Roboquest is a game that I reviewed and played back when it first released into early access, and I did my first review on this game 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now, and back then I thought the game was looking very promising, and I also said that when it fully released, as I said this with many other games, that I would come back to it and make another review slash video on it, and I thought it's about time I start doing that. So it just so happens that Roboquest left early access in November of last year, and I know I'm a little late on that, but I've been playing the game quite a bit this year, so let's just get right into it. Roboquest is all about fluid movement and responsiveness. The core gameplay loop involves navigating randomly generated levels filled with various enemies and obstacles. Now, the levels are not completely randomly generated like some games are, where the entire level is just randomly generated when you're playing it. This is more of, it's kind of the same level, but there are different layouts to it. So there are predefined parts and chunks of a level, but the way that it's laid out will be a little bit different each run. So it's not completely randomized, but it's like a different layout to the level, but not a different level, if you know what I mean. And each level has a different theme. So each level will have its own theme, and it'll have its random layouts, but it'll be like the same level, different layouts. The movement system in this game is fluid, allowing players to double jump, dash, and sprint, which adds a layer of agility and verticality to the combat and movement, which is one of the highlights of this game. It's actually one of my favorite parts. I mean, there's a lot of this game where I'm going to say this is one of my favorite parts, but this really is one of the parts that also kept me playing this game so much, because the movement just feels so good. You can just fly around the map, and I do mean that literally but figuratively at the same time, because there is a jetpack, so you can actually fly around the map a little bit. And then it's just because the movement is also so fast paced and fluid. You can like grind on some rails, you can jump up, you can double jump, you can go all over the place, and it's great. The movement in this game is great. The tight controls ensure that every movement feels deliberate, and the game's pacing will constantly keep you engaged. I know what I just said about the movement in this game being one of my favorite things, but combat in Roboquest is fantastic, and it is one of the main things that kept me playing Roboquest for so long. It offers a wide array of weapons, each with unique mechanics and strategic uses. Players can wield anything from assault rifles to powerful shotguns, B-guns, laser guns, kunai, swords, and energy-based weapons. There's a great variety of weapons, which encourages experimentation and adaptation to different enemy types and situations. There is literally a weapon for everyone and for every playstyle. Additionally, the game includes a robust upgrade system where players can enhance their weapons and abilities, providing a sense of progression and customization. I would also have to say that the weapons in this game remind me of Borderlands, and actually this whole game's aesthetics remind me of Borderlands, and I can't get enough of it. Every time I play this game, I think of Borderlands. And what do I mean about that? I mean, like, everything about Roboquest just reminds me of Borderlands. From the looks, the graphics, the design of the game, and everything reminds me of Borderlands. And the guns, especially the guns, they just remind me of Borderlands. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me. Maybe no one else will get this just this feeling, and it remind them of Borderlands or something. But every time I see this game and its guns, I look at its guns and I go, this gun could be in Borderlands, and you wouldn't even think about it. Just put this gun in Borderlands, or take some of the guns from Borderlands and put it in this game, and it would be like seamless. Roboquest also has a visually striking art style that combines vibrant colors with cartoonish, cel-shaded aesthetic. This art direction not only makes the game visually appealing, but also helps distinguish it from other shooters. The environments are well designed, with each level offering a distinct look and feel. Whether it's the overgrown futuristic cities or the rugged terrain of the desert, this visual design enhances the experience and makes the game visually stunning. And it's also one of my favorite art styles and just looks that a game can have. For me, the cel-shaded, vibrant colors any game that has it, I just automatically like it more because I really like vibrant colors and I just like the cel-shaded look. The roguelite elements of Roboquest are seamlessly integrated into its gameplay. Each run is unique thanks to its randomized level layouts, randomized enemy placements, randomized upgrades and weapons. And that's another thing I may have forgot to mention. There are like checkpoints in each level, and at the beginning of the level or at the beginning of your run, you will open a box. There's boxes everywhere. They're like mystery boxes. You open it and then you'll get a choice from different items. It can either be an upgrade or it can be a weapon, and then there's also stations where you can upgrade your weapon or you can buy some upgrades, some like passive upgrades for either your class, your character, your weapon, and you can do all that. And this randomness keeps the game fresh and challenging as players must constantly adapt to new scenarios. The progression system allows players to collect wrenches, these gold wrenches that are used to unlock permanent upgrades, and they can also find special items during the run that unlock new passives, like an extra jump, so you can jump 3 times. You can sacrifice some health for more damage, or you can get a grappling hook. Now you can equip all of them at the same time, but these are just some different ones. Or you can unlock new characters during your run, with each character having its own ability and secondary attack, giving a tangible sense of growth and encouraging repeated playthroughs. And the wrenches can also be used to buy upgrades for your camp, or just upgrades period, which will then give you more stuff. Like there's like a whole page with different tiers of upgrades, and you'll need a ton of wrenches to get all the upgrades. Now let's move on to level design in Roboquest, because the levels are decently designed. Each environment is crafted to encourage exploration and strategic combat. There's always verticality to each level. The levels are not just linear paths, but they include multiple routes which you can take to get to different levels based on the path you take. So it's like so basically when you start the game, you start in the middle, and then you can branch out. So there's different paths. So you're trying to get all the way to the end of the run, which you fight the end boss, but there's different paths to get there. And there's also hidden areas that you can find, hidden levels and secrets, and there's vertical spaces that the players can exploit when they're fighting enemies and stuff. The environment variety also ensures that players are not just taking the same path, facing the same series of enemies, but are navigating interesting and dynamic spaces and using it to their advantage. So you never know what enemies are you never know exactly what enemies are going to spawn in that area. And there's also lots of ways that you can move slow and you can use cover, or you can move real fast and jump all over the place and use the verticality to get an advantage. There's so many different ways that you can play this game. There's so many different play styles. Now, the sound design in Roboquest is another strong point for the game. The audio effects for the weapons, explosions, enemy actions, they're all crisp and impactful, and they add to the overall feel of the game. And the game's soundtrack. This is the main one that I want to talk about, because the game's soundtrack complements the game so well. The fast-paced action with the energetic and upbeat tracks just keep you motivated and engaged the entire time. The music will dynamically change to the intensity of the gameplay, enhancing the overall experience. I don't know why I have trouble with that word. Every time I go try to say overall, I say overhaul, or every time I try to say overhaul, I say overall. I don't know what it is about that word, but it needs to stop. In fact, I might just make a whole video on that word, or those two words, because that's just how I feel about them. But anyways, to just shorten this all up, Roboquest has a banger soundtrack. One of the things that I find most compelling about Roboquest is this replayability. The combination of the random level layouts, diverse weapons, upgrades, abilities, and passives ensure that no 2 runs are ever the same. Players are motivated to keep coming back, striving to beat their previous performance, unlock new upgrades, and discover hidden secrets, which is also another thing I really like about this game, is the hidden secrets and some stuff that you have to unlock by trying to figure out, explore more levels, and figure out some of the secrets. It's very rewarding. Or at least I found it that way, because that's part of the reason I kept coming back, is because I wanted to find more and more of the secrets. Actually, I wanted to find all the secrets, and I wanted to complete all the achievements in the game. I don't know what it is about this game specifically, but something about it makes me want to complete all the achievements and find all the secret stuff and all that. The game's difficulty level is also well balanced, offering a rewarding experience for both casual players and hardcore players. There are also different difficulties, so if you want to make the game harder, you can do that. If you want to make the game easier, you can also do that. And the harder you make the game, the more rewards that you will receive, which makes it accessible to more people with the different difficulties. With all that being said though, as if Roboquest couldn't get any better, and I couldn't have any more good things to say about it, it has cooperative multiplayer. I mean, what else do I need to say? It's a fun game, has good movement, good combat, good weapons, good upgrades, good all that stuff, and then it has a co-op mode. The co-op mode introduces new level of strategy, as players can coordinate their abilities and tactics to overcome tougher enemies and bosses on a higher difficulty. This feature though also makes the game more accessible and enjoyable, allowing for shared experiences and teamwork. And you can only have one other friend. It would be maybe cool if there was like an even harder mode where you could have like 3, maybe 4 people, but you can play up to one friend, so there can be 2 of you, and it just makes the game more fun. Now, that is said about every game. Every game that adds multiplayer or adds co-op is going to increase the amount of fun, because you can play with your friends, and anytime you can play a game with your friends, it's just automatically a more fun time playing that same game. Like, you could have a game that's kind of fun, but it's not really that fun, and then you just slap co-op on it, and then it's instantly double the fun. But on that note, I have 2 complaints with the multiplayer. The first one is that if someone disconnects, they're not able to reconnect. And most of the time when someone disconnects, the game just shuts down. So you have to go back to the camp and start again. My second complaint is that if your teammate goes down, you have to sacrifice some of your health to revive your teammate. And I see where they're coming from with that, but even if they bleed out and respawn, it still takes half your health, which I don't like, as I think it punishes the player for one player for doing well, and it punishes you for reviving your teammate too. So if you don't go and revive your teammate, he'll take half your health, with that, which I think is fine if you revive your teammate and it didn't take half your health. But it also, I feel like it punishes you, because your teammate could be down and then you go revive your teammate, and then you still lose half of your health, even though you just went out of your way and saved and revived your teammate. Or yeah, so either way, your teammate gets down and needs to be revived, you lose health, which I think it just punishes one player for not dying, and I think it's punishing for no reason. I think it should reward you if you revive your teammate, but if you don't make it to your teammate in time and they bleed out and they die, then they take half your health. But then if you revive them, it doesn't take half your health. Does that make sense? I feel like I somehow described that in probably the worst way possible. Roboquest is just a great example of taking community feedback and what the community says and doing right by the community. The developers of Payday 3 should be taking some notes right now, as they seem to do everything wrong. Payday 3 just goes, hey, what does the community say? Yeah, let's do the opposite. But that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother video that I've pretty much already made. Roboquest is an excellent game that exceeds in nearly every aspect. Its engaging gameplay mechanics, stunning visuals, and robust roguelike elements that create an experience that is both thrilling and rewarding. And with the co-op slapped on top of it, that's just icing on the cake, making it a must-play for fans of fast-paced shooters and roguelites alike. When you're playing Roboquest, whether you're playing by yourself or with a friend, Roboquest will bring you hours of fun, and I don't normally give games a number rating because I feel like games are either worth it or they're not even worth playing. If I was to give this game a number rating though, it would get a 9.7 out of 10. And this game is also $25, which is well worth the price. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, leave a comment below, tell me what you think of this video and this game. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button because you want to be subscribed, and I'll see you next time.